today, and I wanted to share with you how just some of the concept of blocking the granny squares, or whatever type of granny squares, or whatever type of crocheting that you're doing. So if you're new to the channel, we create with all recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies, and it's our way to give the earth a little hug. And if you're just coming back, thank you so much for coming back. I greatly appreciate it. So the reason I wanted to get this out is because, you know, we've been doing more granny square, crocheting. We've been doing more crocheting in general on the channel. So with that, I just want to share with you, I found a really nice website that you can reference. I really like the blog that this a creative has. Now, her name, the name of the site is KnitterKnotter, and those are both with K's, .com. So, block and crochet projects. So she shows right off the bat a blocking tool, and some of you may have seen these. If you can see this at all, I'm trying to get this, so let me bring it over here. Right here, there you go. You see how it kind of looks like a little bit of a puzzle piece and whatnot? So that is a blocking tool. And I believe, anyway, that's what she's using. So I'm just going to read what she says about blocking, and then I'll just add to it from there. And then I'm going to share with you how I do it. So, but I want to just share with you the professional way. Excuse me. I should have, let me get my sugar-free soda. One moment, please. And I should have my coffee when I'm talking to you. But anyway, blocking is a way to shape your project, or, you know, granny squares or mandalas. They're smaller pieces, the pieces that you're working crocheting or knitting. It's particularly useful when you use small pieces. Yeah, and she says granny squares, small squares, etc. Blocking gives a nice finish and to a project that's already beautiful. It makes a world of difference, and you should definitely try it. It really does make the small pieces crisp. It just makes them easier to connect, in my experience. So let's see. She goes on to say there are two main ways of blocking. So wet blocking or steam blocking. And guess what? I'm going to add a third one there. Spray blocking. That may fall under wet blocking. Okay. So, hi Liz Candle. Hi. Thanks for being here. So, this is what she says you're going to need. Blocking mats. So to block a project, you need a blocking mat that you will pin your project to. So you can get specialized, and that's what she was showing, a specialized blocking mat for this. But I have been using these foam mats. And I was going to say right here, this is what I use. Okay, this is a piece of foam. Any type of piece of foam. You can get it out, you can get it out of a pillow, you can, out of, usually small pillows have these, or you can buy them at the store. So you use a foam mat will totally work. So she goes on about the blocking mat there. You're going to need blocking pins, and simply what I use are regular pins like this. They do have specific pins, I think a little heavier, a little bigger, that are blocking pins. A spray bottle, okay, she does use that, or a steamer. So with the spray bottle, you need to choose something that you can mist it. However, I have used different spray bottles, like where the water is just kind of, not pouring out of it, but coming out at a good rate. Let me put the light on one moment, please. I noticed it's suddenly dark. Okay. Yeah, it suddenly got dark on us, so sorry about that. I think, whoops, now I just dropped the pins, guys. This is what happens sometimes when you're live. Things fall. Okay, now we're back. So, let's see who's that. Hi, Sober. Hi, Like. Hi, guys. Thanks for being here. So, so you need pins. These are the pins that I use, okay? They're just regular, you know, pins that you use for your sewing should be fine. Okay, now she says wet blocking. She goes, I found that wet blocking works well for natural fibers like cotton and wool. There are two ways by which you can wet block a project. Okay, so I'm gonna say cotton or wool when you're crocheting, but not cotton and wool that are wet felted, because this small block and these small pins are not going to work to necessarily hold, you know, a piece of wet felted wool down. So that's totally different project. But for this, so what she's saying, there's two ways to wet the block. Submerge it in water and then pin the project to the blocking mat and leave it to dry. Pin the project to the blocking mat and then mist the project. So this is how I do it. I put my granny square, whatever it is I'm using, and typically I will mist it first. That's what I do. I just mist it first. She says you can pin it first and then mist it, and I should think that absolutely you can do it either way, because your whole, I have to put this down for a minute so I can see, because I want to show you something. What you want to do, I can't really show you holding this up, but what you want to do is pull these corners as even as you can, and in a nice, even manner, okay? Now, I don't really believe there's an incredible amount of difference if you wet it first, or if you pull it and pin it in its place first. There would be very little difference. So, but this being on the foam will dry, and it just kind of separates. What happens is it separates and makes these stitches crisp. It's hard to explain, but it comes out really beautifully. And it does, I will testify to that, even though I don't do blocking all the time, and it does make it easier when you're going to connect your squares or your circles or whatever you're doing in your crocheting, because it somehow defines these stitches. It just does. It really does help. So you can choose one of the above methods, depending on the size of your project. So I just like the way she gives a nice clear way to describe it, and her name is KnitterKnotter.com. So I thought I'd get on here, give her a shout out, show you what blocking is. So yeah, you would just block it like this, make it nice and even, and then just spray the piece. Now the other way, if you do wet this piece completely, let's say you submerge it in water, the one thing I want to say is wring it. She doesn't say this, but in my experience, just wring it out really good, and then take a few minutes to make it nice and even on your foam block. So, anyway, this happens to be a one of those soundproof pieces of foam. My son had gifted me with a bunch of these, so he knows me and my art, but I thought, wow, that piece of foam looks great for blocking. Blocking out noise, blocking for the granny square. You get my drift. So anyway, thank you so much for being with me this afternoon. I figure I keep this a short video, and we'll be back. I have a lot of different other things I'll be sharing with you. And oh, this is something I wanted to share. I almost forgot. I'll have to show this at the beginning of the next, because I'm going to sew this. But isn't that adorable? Okay, we'll be back. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful day. Love and light.